Hello and welcome to the discovery of the definition of educational technology, brought to you by Roger Bismore, Victoria Novak, and Rebecca Ussery. What is educational technology? Educational technology is the study and ethical practice of facilitating learning and improving performance by creating, using, and managing appropriate technological processes and resources. Januszewski and Melinda.
So now we know the definition of educational technology. Let's take a look first at the foundation of the definition, the study of and ethics in educational technology. Study and ethics applies to all areas of educational technology. They guide all the decisions an educational technologist makes. Educational technology is founded on study, the study of theory and research. It looks to the educational theories from Skinner's work on behaviorism, Piaget and cognitive development, and Vygotsky and social constructivism. Educational technology takes these theories and builds on this with the learning theory when a technologist creates a learning event, such as Kolb's experiential learning cycle or Gagne's 9 learning events. Educational technology also uses research and theories from human performance improvement and technology because a goal of this field is to improve productivity in organizations by designing and developing effective interventions that are results-oriented, comprehensive, and systemic. Lastly, educational technology uses instructional systems design processes to create the most effective learning environment. Using design methods and models, such as the ADDIE model or Dick and Carey's system approach model, the goal is to create improved learning. But study is not the only foundational component in educational technology. Research is a critical component within the field. To improve performance in learning, we have to conduct research, whether it is to evaluate a component within EdTech, such as a new tool or technology, or solve a local problem, such as incorporating educational technology in the classroom for students with learning disabilities. But educational technology has to study the field's research as well to apply best practices, determine what has worked, and avoid what has not worked. The second component of this foundation is ethics. Every decision regarding the design or creation of learning events should be based in ethics. We must be ethical toward the learners. We have a duty to respect them as individuals with unique needs. We should design learning and incorporate technology to meet their needs and ensure accessibility. We are also responsible to teach the learner how to be ethical with their use of technology. Any learning that uses technology must include lessons on topics such as netiquette, preventing cyberbullying, and appropriate use. At the same time, we must respect their right to privacy while providing a safe learning environment. We have an ethical duty to society. We must make decisions based on facts and not opinions, such as what tool to integrate into a program. We also have an obligation to be honest and avoid quid pro quo, such as taking a reward or bonus for selecting a specific technology tool. Lastly, we have an ethical responsibility to our profession. We must make decisions on the inclusion and use of technology by following and adhering to standardized processes and procedures. Our work has to be above reproach, whether that is adhering to copyright or collecting research data. As we look further to define educational technology, we must consider 3 key elements to facilitate learning and improve performance, which are creating, using, and managing resources and processes. The first element, creating, is where one will find design, development, and evaluation of instructional materials and learning environments. Instructional designers are people responsible for carrying out and coordinating the systematic design procedure. This may consist of setting goals and objectives, analyzing learners and their needs, participating in feedback, assessing the learners, evaluation of the learning experience, and redesign where needed. There are many design models that date back to the 1940s to help instructional designers create learning programs and curricula. Each model considers questions like, what is the purpose? How can learners demonstrate knowledge in practical application? How do we prepare appropriate assessments? And more. Let's talk about a couple models. Robert Gagne's 9 Events of Instruction is a systematic approach where the focus is on outcomes but also includes behaviorism. The definition of behaviorism based on Morrison, Ross et al. Is the learning theory in which subject content is divided into a series of small steps. The learner participates actively, receives feedback on effort, and is guided to success. The instructional designer starts with the first step, which is to gain the attention of the learner, then takes the learner through content objectives, stimulates recall from previous learning, then providing new content and having them apply what they've learned. They'll be provided feedback, evaluation, and at that time they should be able to transfer their knowledge. Another model to look at is the ADDIE model, which was created by the Florida State University in the 1970s to train the United States military. ADDIE is an acronym that stands for Analyze, Design, Develop, Implementation, and Evaluation. And while it may be considered an older model of design, it is still widely used today. The ADDIE model starts with a thorough analysis of the problems, gaps, and the necessary resources to solve the problem before attempting any design efforts. No matter the type of design that is carried out or the learning modality used, evaluating outcomes of the learners and the quality of the content is necessary for improved performance, both from the human and design aspects. So as you can see, there are a variety of ways to design, develop, and evaluate materials for instruction, and these will continue to evolve as the educational technology paradigms shift. Januszewski and Malenda define using as action central, where the solution meets the problem, and the place where there is a continuous use of appropriate technological processes and resources. The using element of educational technology starts with selecting materials that may have already been created, also known as off-the-shelf materials, or determining if new materials would better suit the learning activities and outcomes. The utilization of learning materials is crucial to the quality and value of the instruction. Utilization simply means action of making practical and effective use of something. A good example of utilization is the pencil. The pencil was used in the classroom in 1564 and still used today, whereas the original typewriter from 1873 is non-existent in the classroom of today. However, the typewriter has evolved to the word processor, the first computer, laptops, and mobile devices. Today, there is more attention being paid to experiential learning than ever before. The demand for and use of new technological resources is on the climb. Augmented reality, collaborative gaming, the use of artificial intelligence, and virtual reality. These are all technological resources that should be considered for that experiential learning and improved performance. Managing technology resources has been a critical function in educational technology since the field began in the 1920s. Management has also evolved in the forms of project management, delivery systems used to deliver products, personnel management, the human resources aspect, and information management, where and how information is stored and maintained. Regardless of the materials selected for use and instruction, it is necessary to analyze and evaluate how resources will be utilized and managed for effectiveness of learner outcomes and improved performance. In the definition of educational technology, it is important to look at the aspect of facilitating learning. The 1963 definition by AECT states that facilitating learning is the result or the end product of educational technology. The definition focused on the design and use of messages to control the learning process. To simplify these words based on the Oxford Dictionary, facilitating is to make something easier, and learning is knowledge acquired through experience, study, or being taught. Considering these definitions and the current definition of educational technology, the term facilitating learning emphasizes that learners control and own what they are learning. Instructional designers and educators are the facilitators to make learning easier by organizing the learning materials and content, creating the learning environment to match the learner's needs, and content being facilitated. They also provide the tools necessary for the learner to apply knowledge into practice. Other factors to be taken into consideration with facilitating learning and improving performance is the learner's level of motivation, influence, and building relationships in the learning community. We must consider intrinsic motivation, where students have a natural internal desire to excel and perform, and extrinsic motivation, which is driven by external factors such as passing a test or getting an award. Motivation can also be driven by the influence of teachers, peers, or other relationships. Facilitating learning is very complex and has changed from focusing on the learner's end result to the learner taking control and owning their learning. The goal is to ensure that the learner is provided engaging experiences to excel and perform at their highest level of learning. So that is educational technology. It is a blend of education, learning, and instructional design theory with influences from human performance technology. It is the combination of creating, using, and managing the tools and processes for learning to create a learning environment that addresses the learner's needs and improves performance. Here is a list of our references.